welcome back. So last weekend, was it last weekend? Yeah, last weekend I went and got that that big water tank. This weekend I was going to get back to taping the barn, all the seams in the barn, but it's mowing season. The grass is really tall. Maybe I can get out in the pasture and show you that field because it's beautiful. It's really come a long way since we bought the place, and it's progressing through the way that we needed to. But I had that big yellow brush hog that we had purchased at the auction real cheap last year on the back of the big tractor. Been sitting since last year, worked great last year. I mean, it's rough. It's rough, that's why we barely paid anything for it. I took it out for a spin, and that main gearbox on it is shot, so that wasn't gonna work. Sending the 15-year-old out in the skid steer with that little 6-foot brush hog, it's gonna take her longer, but that's what we got. So I decided, you know what, it's mowing season. We gotta mow for the next 6-7 months. Let's not focus on the tape right now, and instead, if you recall, maybe not, it was a while ago, but we got a bad gearbox on this brush hog as well, and that's a 12-footer. I have the gearbox for it, I just never put it in, so I'm gonna work on maybe, hopefully, getting that gearbox swapped out today, and then we'll at least be able to cut 12 feet at a time in the tractor. It's way easier, and then it doesn't tie up the skid steer so that we can use it for other things while someone's out mowing. So that's the plan. I gotta go get the gearbox because it is all the way up the house. Carry it back here, and then get going on that. She's gonna mow, and
hello.
someone's gonna get back to tilling.
Yeah,
these two are gonna hop in the tractor.
Yeah, we have a little more than halfway to go, so hopefully we can get it done.
I think you'll be able to get it done today. It should go pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that field probably almost needs to be mowed again. The grass just, this time of year, once that sun pops out, it grows so fast.
It does.
And it's been raining.
Yes.
So those two things combine for 3-foot tall grass real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is around here, 3-foot tall grass everywhere.
It is.
Even in our front yard, that needs to be mowed as well.
Yeah, everything needs to be mowed.
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna get to it and we'll see how it goes.
Hi! So like we just said, Lucy and I are headed out to do some tilling. I think last time we got like 17 rows done. So we have a little more than half to go to get everything freshly tilled so we can get going with the blueberry beds. So I'll try to get some footage throughout the process. Last time she fell asleep, so we'll see how she does. She's definitely in a big movement phase, so we'll see how long she tolerates this, but we'll get going. Alright, we are trucking along. We've done a few rows, but I wanted to show you how crazy it is. A matter of, I guess, you know, she's like 10.5 months, so that long. How you can just, this is my view. You can see the last couple rows I did, but looking forward, it is, you can see like right here, there's a row, but even just looking in front of me, you can just barely tell. It's crazy the amount of growth and how much the dirt just disappeared because a lot has grown on top of it. So sometimes it's a little challenging to see where the row is, but luckily I can like just barely tell. So we're still moving along. I'll check back in. Okay. Someone literally just woke up after we just finished tractoring. It went really well. I did 16 additional rows today. So very close. We're getting very close to being done with refreshing the tilling. I stopped only because, like I showed in the last clip, I got to the point I literally could not see where the rows were, and I don't want to mess anything up. So I think we're gonna have to go back out and kind of remark them with flags or something, because for a while I could kind of tell where the row was, but got to the point where I literally couldn't tell the difference between just the grass and where a row was. So we'll finish that up another time, but I'm glad we got 16 rows done. She was doing great. She was grabbing at the steering wheel. It was really funny. And then eventually fell asleep. So it went really well. We'll go check in with Joe.
All right, so apparently we're having a hard time seeing where the rows used to be. I'm gonna go down here and see if I can't spot for her. There's the big water tank, right where I left it. I haven't done anything with it yet. We do have the pump. The solar pump came in over the week, and so we have that. Don't have solar panels. I'm just gonna get solar panels off of Facebook Marketplace because I can get them pretty cheap, and it'll be good enough to pump the water. Buying solar panels right now is not the best, so getting them off Facebook Marketplace, that's going to be the way to go. And then we'll run the water line, we'll dig a trench, run the water line up. But yeah, let's see if we can't find these rows. Obviously these ones are easy to see because she's already tilled them. And these ones were mulched up here, so it made them easier. But man, a lot of deer been through here. Just loaded with deer tracks. Yeah, let me walk down here and see if I can't find these ones that she wasn't able to see. I feel like I'm being followed. All right, yeah, these ones are really overgrown down here. Very hard to see. The grass grew in so thoroughly. But I was able to find it, and they're lining up with me. Lucy's driving. She's very excited. She was just giving me a big smile and waving, so that was cute. But yeah, they are really hard to see down here. I don't want to have to remeasure these because it was a real pain. So we'll get them close enough and get them done. There's not that many left, like 10, I think, or less. Hopefully she doesn't run me over. Looks like Lucy has Thumbelina in. She's doing now she's clapping. She's great. Oh, that's the best. Anyway. Liz has her hands full doing all this with Lucy. All right, so Liz and Lucy they're walking up the hill. We've done enough for today. I'm just gonna till my way back up the hill so that we can get a second pass on all these rows. There's more, but it's getting late, and we need to wrap it up for the day, and tomorrow's Mother's Day, so they were getting increasingly harder to find. We might have to measure the rest of them, but yep, I'm just gonna till up these as I go up the hill, and then we'll wrap up this video. All right, well, they make this thing, well, in a factory or giant shop with multiple people, probably not so bad, but as a sole person, they make it very difficult to work on. Can't really get on most of those nuts because of like how they're in there, not with a socket anyway. But even so, the one that I did get on was spinning, so it seems like I gotta have to work both sides at the same time. So I think I'm gonna have to go get the excavator and pick this thing up and just kind of stand it up, so that way I can work on both sides at the same time. I just don't see any other way to be able to get that gearbox off, and we'll see. I might even need like multiple pieces of equipment. I've been thinking, and I haven't actually used the car lift yet, but I'm very excited to have it. But I think the other thing I need is some sort of gantry crane for big things like this, to be able to use a chain hoist to pick things up and things like that. I don't know about whether a mobile gantry crane or a fixed gantry crane, but I think that would be really handy. I see them on Facebook Marketplace all the time, and I might end up picking one of those up. But let me go get the excavator and see if I can't stand this thing up, and then figure out how to get this gearbox off. I really do need to get this fixed, and I don't want to pay someone. Okay, well, this isn't what I would necessarily call ideal, but we'll leave the machine running, and if it leaks down at all, we can just pump it back up. It's fine. I won't spend a lot of time hanging out underneath there. But it looks like I'm gonna have to take that off. Had to anyway, because the shaft comes all the way down here. It has a castle nut with a cotter pin. Have to take that off, and then I will be able to see up underneath there to get the rest of the bolts off, I guess. It's not exactly obvious how that works. All I can do is get started, I guess. All right, I haven't been filming because I haven't been making any progress. So, up underneath here is a castle nut with a cotter pin, and that cotter pin doesn't want to come out. It's a really poor design, not necessarily having a castle nut and a cotter pin, but the access hole to work on it is incredibly too small. Obviously, whoever designed this never worked on it or thought too much about it, actually. There was probably some stupid reason why they did it, but again, it's nearly impossible to work on. Cotter pins are easy to get out, but you need to be able to get up and around them to get some leverage on them, and the way that hole is just way too small. Putting it in was probably fine. Taking it out, impossible. So I'm gonna try putting some heat to it. I already broke the cotter pin, but maybe if I put some heat to it, I can wiggle it out. If not, I'm gonna try to take the impact to it and see if I can't just twist it off and then get it out after the fact. So we'll see how it goes. All right, that was a struggle. I bent 2 punches, used the torch, broke a screwdriver, but I didn't break my spirit. That's all that matters. So, all right, I was able to get that cotter pin out. But I'm pretty certain I don't have a socket big enough to take the actual nut off. The castle end is smaller, but it's not actually, it's round. That's not helpful. The nut itself is, I think, maybe 42 millimeter. The 36 is the biggest I have. It didn't even come close, so I'm gonna have to go off to the old Harbor Freight, buy some more tools, but probably not gonna be able to take this apart today. So nothing like spending a couple hours getting a cotter pin out. That's not exciting. Tomorrow's Mother's Day, so I won't be doing anything tomorrow. I have to wait till next weekend. And I think, well, I'm not going to say it's going to go better. I don't know. who knows? But it was a little sketchy being up underneath there with that hook to the excavator, but it worked just fine. And yeah, I think once I get that whole assembly off, then I can access the underside of these bolts, and I'll be able to just probably zing them off with an impact. Well, that's it for now. I'm gonna go check to see if I do have the socket. It'd be great if I did, but I'm pretty sure I don't. All right, so it got really challenging to find those rows at the end.
Yes.
That's why I gave up.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I kind of I was like,
yeah,
all right,
it's
this is
really hard.
the last two I was guessing, which was close enough. We might just guess. I don't really feel like measuring to do the rest of them. I might just guess.
Yeah.
They just
It'll
have to be
good enough.
close. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not rocket science, but yeah, I think everything probably needs one more pass with the tiller, and then we're gonna have to figure out how to use that augie thing.
For the rest of the mulch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, hopefully it works. We've never even tried it, so
No. Yeah, I hope so.
hope it works. That'll save us like a crazy amount of time.
Yeah, doing the mulch the way we were was taking a while.
It would take days.
Yeah.
And days. I bet like 2 straight weeks.
Like full days.
Yeah, to get it done.
Yeah.
Yep. So our daughter got most of this field. There's a little bit left over here by the pond that needs to be mowed. She had to do it with the 6-foot brush cutter, so a little slower, but it does a nice job. And I didn't get to get out there before she mowed it all down to show you just how nice that pasture, the grass in that pasture is, but it's phenomenal. And we'll put up a picture right here of what it used to look like so you can see it. It was all pine trees and briars. And then once we got that down, then came in the pigweed, then came in the dog fennel. So now it's mostly grass. The dog fennel does try to creep back. I think we probably need to put down some lime over the next year or two to get the pH right. But the grass, for the most part, crowds everything out. So it's really...
It looks really nice.
It's made a massive transformation. Remember when we first got this place?
Yeah, it was bad.
So bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for today. And this weekend, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so we'll be taking it easy. My understanding is we're going for a walk if it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
So, life's an adventure.
Let's keep it that way.